Good evening, everyone.
I better say, I was waiting for you to say it. So we're going to say it at the same time.
Are we supposed to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone.
And welcome back to another installment of Rewind Reports.
Your favorite way to unwind with Rewind.
I'm your co-host, Raven.
I'm your other co-host, Blake.
And let's get into the news.
Pope Leo has spoken on what it means to be pro-life.
Pope Leo XIV, which I believe is the 14th, has spoken out on what it truly means to be pro-life according to the teachings of the Catholic Church. He emphasized that the Church's understanding of pro-life is not limited to a single issue, but is instead a consistent ethic that must be lived out across all areas of life. He also condemned politicians who misuse the pro-life label while backing policies that undermine human dignity, pointing specifically to the inhumane treatment of immigrants in the U.S. right now.
The gleeful celebration of the death penalty by Vance and others related to Kirk's killing and the cruelty towards immigrants by MAGA Republicans and the president in recent weeks was enough to cause the Pope to speak out. You know, there was a lady who used to speak at this church that I went to a long time ago that had like 3-hour church services. I don't go anymore. But she used to always say, if you were going to be pro-life, you need to do that from womb to tomb. Mm-hmm. If we're going to support, birthing these babies that you can't afford or you're having out of wedlock or things like that, you also need to support these programs.
Mm-hmm. You better speak on what kind of programs, girl?
You need to support these programs. You need to support welfare. You need to support scholarships, all this stuff. Not just pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
Right.
Yeah, a little drunk. You also need to support unemployment and all these things like that because people have to live from the day they are born to the day they go on to get their robes. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do that, then why are we suddenly celebrating death penalties? Why are we celebrating taking the immigrants out?
And the bottom line is selective morality is hypocrisy. You are a hypocrite if you're pro-death in any regard and then claim to be pro-life in one regard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the overall thing. I think it boils down to Christian teachings and the idea that all life is precious. But I think that Jesus showed us in really well, might I add, shout out JC.
We're suddenly CBN, come on.
That he cared about everybody. Mm-hmm. He didn't just care about the little babies. He cared about the old ladies too. Mm-hmm. And so should we.
Mm-hmm. And if you donate $19.99 right now, we'll send you a free miracle cloth. I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Okay.
Did you celebrate when Osama bin Laden was taken out? Mm-mm. Really? You weren't up there going, USA,
no.
USA.
I thought that was so weird if I'm keeping it a book.
Yeah, very culty. Give me your tea.
Yeah, I felt uneasy when I saw all of the celebration. I will say our president at the time, Barack Obama, was very direct, professional, and precise, delivering the information to the American people on how Osama bin Laden was killed. It was reminiscent of post 9/11 when they were dancing in the street after all those people died. Mm-hmm. And
on the other end.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But I will say, shout out to Big Pope Leo the 14th.
Yes.
For being that.
Oh, can you say that on the news? Okay.
Moving on along. The Trump administration uses government websites and email messages to... I was covering up the word! Trump administration uses government websites and email messages to pin the shutdown on Democrats.
In an interesting turn of events, the current administration is using the government websites to place blame on the Democrats for the government shutdown. Messages include verbiage such as, the radical left in Congress shut down the government. HUD will use available sources to help Americans in need. Fort Department of Education police were shocked to see that the email away from messages are set to include the following message. I was killing it until you started saying, see? Like you're
it was getting away from you, I can tell.
No, you were doing a sea witch teaching the alphabet. In an interesting turn of events, the current administration is using the government websites to place blame on Democrats for the government shutdown. Messages include verbiage such as, the radical left in Congress shut down the government. HUD will use available resources to help Americans in need. Furloughed Department of Education employees were shocked to see that their email away messages were set to include the following message.
Thank you for contacting me. On September 19th, 2025, the House of Representatives passed H.R. 5371, a clean continuing resolution. Unfortunately, Democrat senators are blocking passage of H.R. 5371 in the Senate, which has led to a lapse in appropriation.
I have seen this time and time again on social medias, and it's been said by the senators in Congress and all these people. Because you were still stacking your papers. So this is what I have to say. They have control of the House. They have control of Congress. They have control of the Senate. They have control of the Bank of America. I don't know. They have control of the American Idol votes. Why aren't they passing stuff? How are the Democrats making you not able to do that? That would have to mean if you have control of all of those things, somebody in your party has to be the traitor.
Exactly. And that was the main thing the Democrats were saying was like, how we getting it?
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, y'all got the power over to everybody. My thing is, this is not how an administration should behave. When I went on the government websites and they were like, the radical left did this and the right, like, that is not how this works. Also, stop playing in people's face. Government shutdowns means people don't get paid.
People don't get paid. People don't get their benefits. People don't get to go to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes people going to work, people said this during COVID and everything, and I know that there was a lot of war over it, but sometimes getting out of your own home is what saves your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that is expansive on many other things other than just government jobs, but those jobs are there for a reason. We've already laid off half the people in the world when he got into office.
Especially the Department of Education people. And my thing is, I'm supposed to fly coming up. And I don't feel comfortable flying without TSA and the air traffic controllers.
Are they laid off?
Yes.
The air traffic people?
They don't. That's the government pay for that too.
Oh hell no! I'm getting in the Enterprise.
And I don't know if I can drive to LA.
I mean, you can. It would just take a really long time.
Okay.
I had a friend who did it in a Tesla. It took him like 3 days.
One person has been hospitalized after ICE agents slammed press photographers to the ground inside the immigration courthouse.
Masked ICE agents violently threw multiple journalists and photographers out of a public elevator without warning as journalists were standing in public and allowed spaces documenting ICE activity. One journalist was hospitalized after striking his head. Multiple journalists who have been working in the courthouse said they follow guidelines to where you stand, and those attacked were in public spaces not impeding ICE activities.
The disturbing attack on press freedom comes amid an alarming rise of ICE violence and U.S. citizens getting swept up in the ICE raids. Okay. Okay, attacking members of the press is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what amendment right that is.
The first.
Is that freedom of press?
It's in the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment. You have the freedom of press, speech, rights, booty, and citizenship.
You don't have, yeah.
Hey, I knew my Miranda rights last week. I don't even know all the rights,
right.
okay?
So
I just know I got
go against the First Amendment right of freedom of press. Also, I don't like it.
No.
What this administration been doing when it comes to our freedom of speech and freedom of press and freedoms of freedoms.
No, they're minimizing. Also, allegedly, a bunch of conservative people have bought TikTok and they're going to start censoring out there too. But that's for another news story.
Yeah, that's not today. Also, the courthouse symbolizes justice, peace, the due process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's a place for ICE. I don't really know because I don't really be knowing. But I just feel like that's not where ICE supposed to be at.
No, once again, ICE is giving I'm a Power Ranger with no checked power. A Power Ranger. And ICE is out there, they're doing all that stuff, and they're acting like they're just going to get away with it. Listen, I'm not doing any threats. I'm not doing any of that. Allegedly, one of those people is going to knuck and someone else is going to buck, as you said last week. And did you know, okay, last week on our news, Raven said, do people in Portland knuck if you buck like that? And apparently Portland is fighting back.
They do, and that's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying they weren't going to protest. I want to be clear. Because Portland, we with y'all. We stand behind y'all. What I was saying is they were peacefully protesting. Like, you are allowed to protest. I wasn't expecting them to do nothing crazy that would need the National Guard. Also, what happened to love your neighbor? What happened to the most vulnerable among us?
Take me to the
What happened to that? What happened to taking care of each other? That's the part that really ticks me off, because if we gonna be like, ooh, we do Christian values and whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah, we're doing the, what's it called? The 10 Commandments in Oklahoma.
I can't take it
I
off.
don't want to talk about that.
But I was gonna say R.I.P. The man ain't dead. We're sending our thoughts and prayers to the journalist that was hospitalized. I hope that they are doing well.
Gabe, do we have an update on that journalist? What good are you?
Gabe looked at you like, bitch, I'm supposed to know.
Gabe was behind the camera like this.
Okay, moving on along.
Okay, wait, sure. Apple removes Ice Block from its App Store, leaving consumers to wonder where they stand on personal freedom.
Legal experts condemn Apple and Google bowing to the White House's request to remove ICE tracking app. The anonymous crowdsourced app describes itself as Waze, but for ICE sightings, and claims to serve as an early warning system informing people when ICE agents are nearby. Apple's action has reignited the debate about what's known as jawboning, when government officials censor speech through intimidation and threats. The Justice Department did not respond to NPR's questions about its request.
And in other news, instead of upgrading to an Apple 17, I'm getting the Paris Hilton razor.
Not only did they not respond to NPR's request, they didn't respond to our request. Did we make a request?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
This is what I want to talk about. I really am going to get that Paris Hilton razor because why are we supporting Apple? As soon as Trump got back in the White House, they wanted to talk about free speech, all these things, and you saw all those billionaires from all these tech companies, Meta, Apple, Microsoft, all these people, they were at the inauguration and they were doing those backdoor handshakes over there, and I'm pretty sure in more backdoors than one, because, allegedly, because they keep wanting to make money. It seems like we are starting a civil war when it comes to Democrat versus Republican, and it now also seems like we are growing the class war because the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep saying, what are we going to do? Have you seen what your health care minimum is going to go up to next year?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guarantee you it'll make throb.
Not in a good way? Apple need to mind the business that mind them. My homeboy just got the Apple 17 Pro Max or whatever and said his battery be dying in 30 minutes.
Second degree burns on the leg. Not really.
And you were saying that we can't hear you when you use your AirPod, it's like you in a tunnel.
She literally calls me on the phone all the time and it sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel and I'm literally sitting in a room doing nothing.
So how about y'all worry about the little products y'all be putting out? How about y'all do that? Because y'all, listen, God called y'all to put out these products. God called you to say, here the app, use the app, let's make sure it works. God did not call you to be infringing on our free speech.
Let me tell you this, you know what I like to do in my downtime while you do Block Breaker and watch Apple AI videos?
What?
I like to watch these videos on YouTube where it does the charts and it shows like what the #1 song was all year and it does like the constant fluctuation. Apple has had iPhones out since 2007 and they were not the #1 phone in the world until like 2016. So as high as you can climb, you can fall that far. Don't play with us because as the consumer, you've seen what happens when we boycott Target or when we boycott anything else. We got no problem throwing the little phones away. I don't need AirDrop that bad. Yes, I do.
Also, but will other companies then follow suit? Because if Apple and Google are like, oh, the government told us what to do, we gotta do it, like, what's stopping the other people who do it?
Can I say this, and I mean this? No, I'm going to say it. We're on the news. Government and money this year to me, and this may make me sound woo-woo, is giving, we're making up things as we go.
Capitalism, baby.
It's capitalism, but people always say, like, in economics class, like, all the eco bros, they were like, you can't just print more money.
That's what we be doing.
That literally sounds stupid. I mean, people say that's like a stupid argument. That is literally what we just do, but we find a way to say it, and then we call it like, you know, input, output, export, all that kind of stuff. And with the government, it's just like these executive orders, they're supposed to have checked power even then. And he's like, oh, I signed an executive order. That's what he's doing. He's creating headlines to make people squirm. We react accordingly, and what we need to do is we need to get down to the facts. Also, Apple, this is a big, long way of saying, put Sniffies back on the App Store.
Oh, they took Sniffies
They
off?
took Sniffies down. They said it was adult activity, but yet they got Ashley Madison up there downloaded. Yep, your local pastor, check his phone.
Thank you so much for being here with us for the news.
Finally, Raven has let me know that I have gray chest hairs.
And I look like I'm dressed to go to the Masters.
Will she hit a home run? Wrong sport. For all your news, thank you for tuning in this evening.
I'm Raven.
I'm Blake. And that wasn't right. But you know who keeps the world spinning? You.
Thank you.
Night good. Everything was backwards.